Hello. Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Uh,
Good morning.
so have you tried yesterday's configuration? Have you created some users and provided them rules? How many of you have tried?
Yes, I tried.
Okay. Any difficulties or anything that you need to
Mm,
ask about
No,
that? Okay,
I
thank
tried
you.
user role and groups, so it works fine.
Okay. Yeah, we were yesterday discussing about the groups,
Yes.
why we should actually add uh, rules to the groups and not directly to the users. The reason is, let's say, so ideally, even in the organizations, users gets added to a group. Let's say one person is added to a help desk group, and then there is an application support group. So let's say he might there are some of the rules that additionally needs to be added into that particular group members and not for other group members. So we directly add those rules to the group itself and don't go to each and every group member and add rules to their profile. So we tend to go directly to the groups and add those rules to that group, and all of the members in that group will directly inherit the rules that are present in their group. So this is the reason why we actually add rules to the groups.
So group is
If any new person added to that group also, like it will be effect to that person also, right?
Correct. You can add or remove any person into that group, and he will inherit those particular rules.
Okay. We no need to add the rules every time.
Correct.
We
Correct.
add the member to the group, that's fine. Yeah.
so
Let me
group is
also.
so
Yeah,
group is basically a combination of roles to perform a specific task.
that is correct.
Okay.
So a group might have all or some of the roles. Let me show you actually. What is it? So if you open groups into user administrations or somewhere system security, both of them you can find it, and you can create your own group. Let's say I'm trying to create one help desk group, naming my help desk, right? And I created this one. Clicking on save, this group will be created, and I can directly assign these roles to this particular group, and all of the members who are part of this particular group, they will be directly assigned these roles. So let's say I'm now doing ITIL for this help desk, and now, okay, they have been queued. They will be added after a short while. Yeah, so one role ITIL is added over here, and these are the members, group members. You can bring them or you can create new group members. Let's try to find all of the group members we created. Uh, okay, there was one more thing before bringing these members is to what I noted down was importing users from Excel. So you can go to this user table. Okay, there is one more way of going directly into a table is either you can go and find user like this and go to user administration and users. And the other thing is you can actually directly type the name of the table, says underscore user, and
Got
you can
it.
dot list. If you type dot list in a small case, it will open in this particular window. If you type dot list in caps, it will open it in a new window. So this says user table is now opened in a new window, and yep. And if you directly type sys underscore user dot list in a small case, it will open over here only. It will not open in a new window. So let's go to that new window. So we wanted to import. So I have created one Excel saying users. So there are actually multiple ways of importing user. A very simple way I'm showing you is this one. So I have created one Excel which contains the user ID, the first name and the last name, and created these 10 users uh, with user one and the first name. All of them are user, and the last name is the distinguish factor, which is the number. So you can go to any of the field and click on this and click on import. When you will click on import, it will ask you what do you want to do and how do you want to import the data inside this particular table. So do you want to create an Excel template to enter the data or not? So if you click on this create an Excel template, it will try to create a predefined template for everyone who is trying to import data inside ServiceNow, and they can utilize this template and fill up their data. So even if you open this particular template, let it download first. Mm,
So does this template also tell us what type of the field it is and which one is
correct.
mandate?
Not mandatory. It will give you all of the fields, and you can fill up the data that are required. So you can also see in this user table there is nothing mandatory.
Okay.
If you go, only the thing that ideally should be mandatory is the user ID to log in. Mm. This is a user table, and if you open any of the record, nothing was mandatory at all.
So
So
even user ID is also not mandatory?
no, it's not mandatory over here, but yeah, it should be there. If you'll try to save something, it will not allow you to save. Let's say whether it is allowing you. Okay. Ha. So currently it is not mandatory. You can see one more user is created. That is an empty user without any user ID. See this 631 user is created. So as of now, there is nothing mandatory into it, but the business can decide what are the mandatory fields that should be there. So you can change your mandatory fields and non-mandatory fields according to the requirement. Let me just delete this one. So we have this thing created. This is the template that was provided. So you can read through it. These are the columns: user ID, active, first name, last name, and email, and everything that you can fill, the max information that you can give them, you can fill into this particular sheet. Active, building ID, this guy, that guy, city, company, and all of these things. Maximum thing, whatever you can fill. But see, ideally, the thing that should be uh, at least it should be available for distinguishing thing is user ID and first name and the last name. So you can fill these things. Let's just find user ID. Yeah, user ID is there. You can provide the user ID, you can provide the first name, last name, and try to provide the answers, passwords into this sheet, and then import it. So I have created this sheet with these three fields only. Let me try to import this one. So to import, I can click on any specific field and click on import. I think it was there. Yeah, when you click on import, it will come to this screen. I will show you one more time. Any field you can choose and use these three dots and click on import. Now you don't need to create any of these Excel templates. Now you can directly choose your file. The file name was this guy, users.xls x, and we have 10 users. So if you upload, it will import the Excel. It will try to find out what are the field names that were there, and you can preview the imported data over here. And we have 10 records, 0 to 9. We have 10 records to be imported, and you can click on complete import, and it will actually import the data. You see, primary email device is created for all these users, and these are the users that are created. And now if you look at your sysuser table, in a new tab, you can see that we have 10 users added. Now they have become 640 users. And if you open any of these records, let's say I open user number 9. So user ID is filled, first name is filled, and last name is filled. Everything is mapped, and these users are created. Now coming to the groups that I was telling you, let's say I want to add all these users to help desk groups, right? If you open these users, you can see no role is assigned to these users, no groups, and nothing is assigned to these users. So these are basically self-service users only. They don't have any permissions. So when they log in, they will log in as an end user. They don't have they have only end user permissions. External user
Can we assign
permissions.
the group to all them together,
Yes,
or
exactly. We can do that. Let me show you how to do that. So if you open groups table and go to user administration groups, try to open it in a new tab. And I created one help desk, yeah, my help desk group. So there is an already present help desk. This is out of the box. And I created one my help desk which contains ITIL role. Let's just try to find the difference between them. So the original help desk contain one member and no roles, right? So why this user one got added into it? Okay, that's not my user. That is an existing user. The user ID is help desk. So this user is added to a group but doesn't contain any role. So this is my help desk group which we recently created. We provided one role which is ITL role. Now you can go and bring members into this group. So you can try to find with our username, right? Our name, which was user 1, user 2, and user 10. All of these, you can select all of them and bring them to the right side. Now, what would happen is, if I click on save, all of these users are added to this particular group. This has been queued. It will take a few seconds if you reload. All of these users are added. And now if you try to open these users and see that these users are added to this particular group. This is help desk, my bad. Yeah, user.5 is the user that we created from Excel. And you see it is added to one group, which is my help desk, and all of the roles are automatically provided to this particular user. So you can add and remove users. You don't need to go to a specific user and remove all of his roles and everything. You can just directly pull him out of the group and it will be done. So that's why it is very necessary to assign the roles to the groups and then add these users into those specific groups. That's how it will help. It will remove a lot of burden from you, because you might not want to remove thousands of roles from thousands of users. That is not a very good practice. So we added these, and all of these new users that were created now have this ITIL role. They can log in at any time and they will be presented with their particular
So
modules.
if we want to remove any particular user, if you remove that user from the sys.user, user, it will remove from the group as well, right?
If you remove from sys.user, so let's just try to remove. Let's try to remove user number 4, right? Completely remove from the system. So we can go and delete it.
Yeah.
So if we delete this user, one notification device will be deleted, and probably yes, you're correct. It will be removed from that group also. So removing role. Every role is removed for this particular user, and at the end this user will also be removed from that particular group. So all of these roles are removed. If we close this, we removed user 4, right? So let's
Yes.
come to that group. This is the group. If you open this in a new tab, that's the group we created, my help desk, and user 4 is now removed from here. We don't find user 4. So yes, we don't have user 4. That user 4 doesn't exist, cannot log in, doesn't have any role. So
And
that's how you can delete it.
one quick question: if we delete the group for any user,
Mhm.
for example, if we delete for user 6 the group,
Yeah.
and then it will be delete all the roles as well.
Yes, correct. So this is user 6. This is saying user 6 has 41 roles. How he has 41 roles? Because he's a part of one particular group, which is this particular group. If you want to remove this user's particular group, so either you can go to groups and remove this specific user, or you can just go to that user into the groups related list. You can bring this group to the left side. Now this user 6 is not part of any of the group, and all of the roles will also be removed. So job added, and this is queued. If you refresh, this is removed from your group and all the roles are removed. So this is another thing you can try to do. That's how we basically add. So you can make him part of multiple groups also. Let's say we added him to my help desk group, right? So first we added him to my help desk group. All of you are aware he will be given 41 roles because ITIL contains and inherits the 41 roles. If I refresh again, you will see that 41 roles. And if I try to add him to another group, so this particular user 6 is part of different groups also. Let's say application development. So if you add this, so this user is part of two groups, enjoys the privileges of these two group members also. So if you try to refresh now, the roles will be enhanced. So now this user probably the same roles it have, but yeah, he can do the task of this particular group also. Let me see. Okay, so this group doesn't have any roles. That is one big thing. I need to find some group which contains some of the roles. So yeah, this group was created, manager is this girl, and this has members but doesn't have any role. So if we try to give this group some role, let's say these are the roles which will come in. Let's say I try to give this guy some. So this was application developer, right? So let's try to give him all app related roles. This is for testing purpose only. These roles will be very carefully given to a specific person. These 6-7 roles we have provided. Refresh. Now this application development group contains these 6 roles, all related to admins. Now if we try to go to our user 6, user 6 initially was member of two groups but having 41 roles because the second group doesn't have any roles. If you refresh, these roles will be added and their specific roles will also be added. Now this guy has 57 roles. Why 57? Because some roles have more roles inside it that gets inherited when you're a member of some admin group or something. So it includes all of these roles. So this is the reason why it is forcibly imposed that you should definitely work with groups and not with roles. Mm. Uh, so this was one thing. Uh, any questions on users and groups and their roles and everything? You can try to play with these things. Whatever rule you want to give, you can just try to log in, impersonate them, and try to see what are the features they're having, what applications they have access to, what all they can do, and everything. So
Just want to add one more thing here. So I tried today to insert the data using insert XML, and I downloaded the data from other instance and then trying to add, and it worked fine.
yeah,
So yeah, I just found that one also. And so just like the question, is there any logs which we can check somewhere to find out which data has been inserted or something?
so yeah, there are import set logs. So when you actually import something, let's say this guy, you have imported something using an Excel, right?
Right, right.
That will be imported. And if you're trying to import using an import set, let's say there is one more thing, which is load data. If you try to find import on the left hand navigator, there is one
No,
application which is system imports its load data. You can, this comes as a part of integration. We'll learn this when we're doing integration. So there are some of the import sets tables. These are what do you say, these are staging table, what we call. So they are not directly impacting the ServiceNow tables because all of them are starting with IMP. We have given them the name UIMP and everything. So these all are import tables. So these tables are, what do you say, an alias between the original table and the integration that is running to. You can choose your data source. You can try to import users from any of these data source. Let's say you want to import them using JDBC, ODBC and other things. You can even try to import using Excels. And you can do the same import thing in here. So this is part of integration. We will try to import users from this one also. But for now, we're not touching it. And these import, whenever you run some imports and run some transform, it will definitely create the history and logs that whether you got any error or not, you can try to rectify them. We'll cover everything in import integrations section. So today, after this, the main thing that we are going to cover today is the form configuration. So there are some of the form configuration. Let's try to go to incident form. So there are two ways we can try to directly type incident and look for the incident application and try to go to that particular module what we want, or we can go type incident dot list. So what it will do is it will open that table list. So you can see now this is the main thing that I wanted to tell you. The table name is only incident because you have opened the list, so that's why it is putting underscore list in front of you every time, even from here, or even from even if you try to open it from here also, click on all, it will open the same incident underscore list table. So you can try to find the table name from here also. So let's say we're working on some incidents, let's say this guy, and we got a requirement to modify the look and feel of this particular form. What you can do is you can try to work on this particular form and modify some of the fields, make changes, move things here and there, and make some things mandatory and non-mandatory. So one question that I have, or one use case scenario that I have for you guys is which one was to remove some of those fields. Let's say I want to remove the service and service offering fields from this particular user form. Not user form, sorry, incident form. So the business comes up and ask you, okay, this incident form is very nice. We have the number, caller, category, and subcategory, but we don't want these two fields. My form should be customly designed for my business, right? And there is no use of these two fields. So to remove these two fields, the business came to, please remove these two fields, and we want all of the fields other than this. So what you can do is you can try to configure this form, and there are so many things. Some of them are very new, some of them are very old. Starting from the fundamentals is the form layout. So to configure any form, the look and feel, and change the layout of it, you can click on form layout. And so I told you in ServiceNow everything is a record. Yeah, it is again promoting me to try form builder. This is one of the latest thing. We will look at this one also, but not now. So the business asked you to remove these two fields, which is service and service offerings, from the incident form. What you can do is configure the form layout of it, try to find your specific fields and bring them to the left side. So these were the available fields, and these were the selected fields that were there present in the form. So if you look at this thing very carefully, these are the fields that are available. These are the selected fields: cancel and save button, and the view. I will come to the view part later, and these are the form sections. If you try to open incident form again, I will show you what are all these things. So let's say I open one. I'm opening incident number 4. And so these were the fields. These are the form sections: notes, related records, and resolution information. You see, incident is one form section, notes is another, related records and resolution information. These 4 sections are there. What is incident? Incident is this section. The main section is an incident section. Notes is another section. Clicking on this guy, it contains 4 fields. This is different section. And resolution information, which contains these fields, is another different section. So
So
what are
everything will be different, right? Like for the, if we consider the change, for the change, it will be different. Change section, planning section.
correct? Everything, every form have different sections.
Okay,
So
so
this,
forms means it is a like incident form, change form.
yes, exactly. So we are looking at an incident table form. So this is the one. Every record, so this is an incident record, right? INC over 0004. This is one record. This record which is opened, you can see every record has a form. Even if you try to open a sys user table, sys underscore user dot list, and try to open any of the user, let's say user 9. So this is sys user table and its form. So user is one form section, and it doesn't have any other sections, but it have all these fields inside this form. So sys user also, everything is a record. A record contains, these are the columns you can consider in the database. These are the columns, but we call that fields or form fields. So everything is a form. and every form has a field. These are the different data types of the fields. Let's say something is string, something incident, date, true or false. All of these are true, false, and everything. So yeah, that's how the form works. And these are the form sections which I was showing you. This incident section contains these many fields, right? And this section contains 1 2 3 4 5, these 5 fields, right? So let me try to we removed 2 fields. One was service and another was service offering. We removed. uh, where were they present? They were present in the incident section. Let me I will reiterate this thing to you, but let me save them right now. I've removed 2 fields on this form, and you can see these 2 fields are completely removed. You're not able to see them. Previous incident, they were present there, service and service offering, but in this they're not present. Now if you will give it a refresh, they will be gone, because this was not refreshed earlier. So now we have 2 of the fields removed, service and service offering. How we have removed it? We have configured and we have done form layout. So this was one thing. Another thing,
Similar way, we can delete or add the fields in other sections also.
exactly. So if the requirement comes up to you, please, let's say on this particular form, I will show you how to create fields also. Not even, work with existing fields. You can create new fields also. So let's say which one? Let's say your business comes up to you and says, I want this active checkbox, which is this active checkbox, which is a true or false field on this incident form also, so that I can very easily say, see what all incidents are active and what are inactive. So inactive are the incidents that are closed, right? Others, everything that are work in progress, open or new, all of them are active. So business comes up to you and say, okay, I want this active checkbox also on this particular incident form, and the positioning will be, I want it between short description and description. I know it's a weird place, but I want an active checkbox between these 2 fields, short description and description. So how you can do it is, um, let me show you
So,
again.
Gaurav, if you want to make like some field as mandatory, we can do that also.
Yes, we can definitely do. We'll come to that. We're right now seeing these 2 fields are mandatory, caller and short description. So let me quickly bring one thing. Anyone can guide me how I can bring active checkbox between these 2 things? Where do I have to go?
3 line and then form layout.
Correct. 3-line configure and form layout. And the field that I want to bring in, I can bring in from left to right. So if I click on this and bring it to right, add, it will be initially it will be added at the last. So but I wanted it between short description and description. So I will pull it up between these 2, or anywhere wherever I want to, I can pull them right there. But current requirement is between these 2. Yeah, so I have just aligned it between these 2 and clicked on save. So now the active field is also present there. And similarly, you can try to create some of the new fields. Let's say the business comes up to you and say, ta- 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 ta, add one checkbox. The name of the checkbox will be summary, and it will work like a description only, and it can contain 500 characters. So one quick way you can do is to create a new field which is not there. So you go to configure, go to form layout only, and you try to find whether we have summary or not. No, we don't have summary. So this just popped into my mind, and I want to create it. So you can create new fields from here only. So the default view is there, the section is automatically selected, and I want to create a field named summary, which is a type of string, right? And what is the length? Length is large, medium, extra large, whatever it is. So let's say I give it a large field length, and I click on add. This is now added at the last. So summary is added at the last. I want to place it below description, so I can pull it up and save it. So this is a very short way of creating fields, and very easy way also. So this will refresh the form for you, and now you can see we have a summary field which will save thousands of characters. So if I try to save something, it will, I hope it is not 1000 right now, but if it is, it will short it down automatically. So you can limit the field characters also. So that's how you can add fields to the form. But okay, we added fields. Now I want to give you one scenario. Let's say we don't have the date field, right? Okay. Okay, add one date field uh, between priority and assignment group on this position. Can anyone guide me? Do we have the date field or we'll have to create one? Let's try to see. So same way, I can go to configure the form layout and try to find whether we have an existing date field or not. I'm not, okay. Okay, don't
Don't
show me this again. Yeah, I didn't wanted to do that because I want to come up to form builder also. Yeah, but yeah, let's no problem. So we have a due date
Due
field,
date.
correct? So everything try to work like this way. If there is an already existing thing inside ServiceNow, try not to recreate it or customly create it. So we have a due date field which we can utilize as a date field. So we will bring up due date, and the positioning was below priority and above assignment group. We did that, and the due date is now present on this particular form, and we can select. But this select due date will work like this. Okay, I want this incident to be completed by 30th of May, right? Uh, so we have pasted date. This will take date and time. Okay, guys, one more thing. So we can see, right, this number field is taking characters and numbers also. This is a reference field. I know, but you guys should also know. And how can you actually identify what is the field type of it? So like we created a string field for this guy, right? And this is a date field. We can see by it is a date, but there is a short method. You can see how and what type of field it is you can go and right click on the field itself, right click and do show for the field name. So this particular field, the label is summary, but the actual name is u_summary, the backend name. If you click on show, you can see that this is in the table incident. The field name is this, the type is string, and the max length is this, and other attributes. The encryption is enabled or not. So similarly, we can do is, what is the type of this field? Right click on show. So we can see this is coming from the task table, inherited to this incident table. I will tell you what all these things are. The field name is active. This is a type of Boolean. Boolean means true and false. And the max length can be this, and a clone filter and every other attribute.
But why
Similarly, you
can
can,
I
yeah.
how can it possible for Boolean max length?
No, if you try to configure this, configure dictionary, there is no max length actually. It is coming up as, so here we actually define the max length for this. So this was taking default values. Uh, I also need to check why it is actually showing you as a max length. But there is no max length. If you see the dictionary, it is coming,
Right.
it's showing you all of these things coming from task table. Type is true
Okay.
and false, which was Boolean. The name is, label is this, and the name is this. So the max length which we created, we can check for summary. Uh, right click and configure dictionary for summary, and we can see, okay, the max length is over here. So for string field,
So that column name u_summary, it is taking like by default, right? We did not give the
yes, I will also. So we created this summary field from font configuration, right? I will show
yeah.
you what is actually happening in the backend. That is also a backend thing only, but it is a shorter way to create some fields. So that is the shortest method how we created a field. I can show you how we can actually create. So we will create our own custom tables also and create every other field. So one question I want to give to you guys is, okay, we've added all of these fields over here. How can we add some fields, let's say in this particular form section, related records. Let's say I want to remove this. I want to remove this due date field from here. This should not be showing under here, priority and assignment group, and it should be showing that field only. It should be showing below problem. How can we do that? Or can you guide me where do I need to go at least?
I think the same way we have to go form layout and then go to the select the section.
Exactly. So you can see the default view is default view selected. I will show you what are other views also, but let's just focus on sections first, because we were on default view and these were the 4 sections we were seeing. So incident is by default selected, and these fields are shown to you are only fields on the incident form section. If you select notes, so these are only these fields, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fields are in notes section. Similarly, related records, 4 fields, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields are there in related records. I wanted to do is due date. Yeah, I wanted to bring due date from that form section priority to this. So if I try to find due date is here. I bring due date below problem, below the split actually, and click on save. And now when you will see, the due date is added to that particular form section and added below problem. So you see due date is there also, and here also contains the same value. It is actually a replica created. So there are sometimes the business tells you, okay, I want this field, the same field to be here and there actually everywhere. So even if I select a date, let's say from 30, I selected 21, and so that thing will also be changed to 21 when you will actually save it, because both of them fields are same. This is now changed to 21. No difference, nothing else, because we used the same field. How we can say this is the same field? Because the name of the field is actually due underscore date.
So if we created that any field in particular section, whether it is a related records or incident, it will be created for that particular form, right? It will be created in that
form section. Correct. So this form section is named incident, and this form section is named related records. So
yeah, but if I created in the related records section also, I can use that same field in incident section also.
Incident section also, whatever you will make change. So these so you can say it's just a clone of it. Whatever value gets changed in one field, because they are same fields. Let me create one more date field for you guys, and then you can understand what I'm actually saying. So let me
in that
create.
case, we cannot create for incident section if it is a different section, like if we take the incident and related records. So if we cannot duplicate the data here, right? Like we can create the field name that is a unique value.
Correct. We'll have to create a unique field. The name or the label can be same, but the backend name should be different. So let's say I create one more due date field, but give it a different name. So let me create a new field, configure form layout, and in the incident section only, below our urgency, below subcategory, I want to create one field. The name will be same due date, and the type will be date time. So this is due date. It is now added. Let me bring it up. So one due date was present there. Another due date is present somewhere below subcategory. Yep. So we have two due dates, newly created below subcategory and old, which we brought from the system below priority. If I save it, following fields are duplicated, due date, due date. Why? Because it is taking the same name. Let me now create a new field from a different method, just to show you that it is a different field. Another method to create a new field is right click, configure dictionary, and go to either table or form design or something. Let's go to table. Actually, we want to create a new field inside a table. So we have configured the table. The table name is incident, label is incident, the name, this is the backend name. ServiceNow will actually look to it, not this, every time. So name is incident. This extends the task table. How, why and what is this extending coming from? So task is the parent table for this. Whatever behavior or fields, some of the fields the task have, incident will try to inherit, because incident is extended from this particular table. So these are the columns. This you can look at it as an SQL table. This is the table name. These are the columns. The name of the column label, what is the type, and everything. So let's try to create a new field from this way. I'm trying to create a new column. Clicking on new. So table definitely, yeah. Make sure everything is doing is on the incident table, or the table you asked to do. So type is date or date time. You can select any of the field type from this magnifying glass icon. We call this as a reference field. Audio, true, false, calendar, date, time, choice, colors, condition string, currency, decimal, due date, field name, anything. So let me try to select a field type which is of type date, time, and the column name I gave the exact column name, due space date. Clicking outside, it will give me a column name automatically. So the label is same, but column name is now different. Let me show you. Not required. Users is also not required. Going to an incident record. Open one. This field was, the name was due underscore date, and our newly created field name is u underscore due underscore date. So anything that gets added by the user will be prefixed with a letter u underscore. So anything that user creates which is not out of the box will be presented with a name. System automatically decides this name as u underscore that particular field in a small case using underscores. So u underscore due underscore date, that's how it actually, you can change it whatever you want, but it will it's a good idea to keep the system provided name, because other developers will also be able to identify, okay, this is users created field, or this is the field that is created after the other fields loaded. Let's say after the, this is not an out of the box field, just to make it this guy. So we have given it a column name, column label, and column name is automatically given by the system, and just simply save or submit this. So I've saved it. This thing is now added to the incident form, but where? Let me show you. So if I refresh right now, we will see another due date field, but where it is? Yeah, here it is. You see, it's here. Right click, and that's the same field, u underscore due underscore date. Let me try to bring it somewhere over here. Below configuration item. So the same thing I will do, configure form layout, and bring it up. Below configuration item, the newly created due date field, which was present at the end. Below configuration item, I want it. Yeah, and do a save. The difference I wanted to show you is, see, the labels are same, but these fields are different. Why? Because their backend name is actually different. This is due underscore date, and this is the user's created field, due underscore date, u underscore due underscore date. So if you change something over here, it will not change it, even though the names are same, but the backend values are different. So I make it 10th of May. It will reflect over here because these fields are exactly same, but it will not reflect over here. So if I try to give it a different date, let's say 1st of June, This is a completely different field. This is a completely different field, even though the labels are looking same, but the backend name is different. So this is 1st of June, this is 10th of May. So that's what I wanted to show you, the difference basically. So coming to other way of, adding some fields, removing some fields and everything. So let's just try to work with this way. Let's bring service and service category back.
How can we make this field as mandatory? Gaurav?
I'm coming to that. Wait. Uh, bring these fields back using form designer. And in the same thing, I will show you how to actually make it mandatory. Or let's just see quickly. So this is the field that we created, right? So if you try to configure the dictionary of it, you've created a field like this. So there is this mandatory and read only and all of these things. If you click on this guy and do a save, it will actually make your specific field mandatory. But there's a catch, and there is actually a very important thing to learn how to actually make some things mandatory or not. So right now your due date is mandatory. If you don't fill it, it will not allow you to save the form. How? Incident create new, and I have filled caller, right? I have filled this description, but I haven't filled due date. This was mandatory. The system will not allow me to fill, and it will automatically give me an error saying that this particular field is not filled. Please fill it. That's how we can make it mandatory and non-mandatory. If you want to make it non-mandatory again, same thing you can do. Configure the dictionary for that specific field. Right click on that field, configure dictionary. You can directly go to that field's dictionary and make it non-mandatory again and do a save. So the question was using form designers. Bring these two fields back, and we can also make these things mandatory, non-mandatory using form designer also. So now coming to form designer, the requirement was to bring those two fields, service and service offering back, and we will create some more fields. Same thing, configure. Now instead of doing form layout, we will now use form design. Form designer is a very interactive way of creating forms. Very easy, drag and drop thing. You can quickly do that. Why it is doing this? Okay. So ServiceNow wants you to actually use form builder extensively. So the first thing was form layout. That was the fundamental thing. That's how you learn from where things are actually coming from. Form designer is a little bit new advanced. I will not say this is latest, but this is also very old. You can drag and drop things from one place to another, and you can rearrange the form like this. You can play around these things and click on save. It will directly save it. So the requirement was, let me do undo. The requirement was to bring service and service offering back, and to get rid of these newly created fields. So first of all, getting rid of this due date, directly simply click on this X icon, remove this. It is removed. I don't want this due date also, removed. I don't want this due date also, removed. Now to bring some things, so let's just, we have removed 3 due dates and save the form, and we can instantly see after refreshing what are the changes that we have seen. So all of the due dates are removed from the incident section also, and from the related records in the sections also. Right now, create some fields or bring some existing fields. Why I have shown you form layout? Because these are the existing fields that are already created, and we can use them. We can drag and drop them. So let's try to find service. Type service over here and bring service back below configuration item, and service offering also. These two things we have, bring them back. Click on save. Form is saved using form designer. Very easy method of doing it. And go back to the incident form and try to save it. So we bring them below configuration item. Service and service offering are back, and that is much easier way of doing it.
So
I would
using form
recommend it also.
designer, we cannot create our own fields, right?
We can definitely do that, and let me show you how to do that. So the next task is to
So
remove this
like,
active field.
which is the feasible way, Gaurav? Like at the time of creating the fields, like if you are having like multiple options, right? Like
Mhm.
what we need, like which is like
I would say try to go with the latest thing
oh, okay.
or the most advanced thing, the things that saves you time and much easier for you. You can go with that. But at the same time, you should be having a core understanding of from where the form designer is actually working, how things are coming, from where things are coming from.
Okay.
So that you have the logic. Okay, if something goes wrong in the newly defined environment, let's say I'm using form designer or form builder or anything, I know where it is making actual change in. So it is making actual change inside the table. So table configure, I'm showing you again, configure the table. All of these fields are actually present in this table. This table have these columns. If you try to find these columns, these are, if you try to find service, you will see service and service offerings are present. These fields are not deleted, they are present. But the other thing is they are not rearranged or not shown you somewhere. On some form sections they're not present, but they are actually part of this table, and you can work on this. So this table actually have 97 fields, but are you able to see 97 fields? No, you don't, because some of them are hidden, some of them are used in a different view, and something like this. So coming to this, we have given them service and service offering. Similar way, if those fields are not present here, I want to also get rid of one active field which is not required. So simply remove this and active will be removed. So if any field is not here and you want to create a new field, let's say you just like how you created the summary field, you can click on field types and select your specific field type. Let's say I want uh, okay, the reference field. Let's say I want to create okay, let me just create a new string field also, and I will come back with a reference field also. So you just click the field type string, drag and drop over here and go back on the form. This new string field is created, and when you click on this gear icon, you can actually configure this. You can give it the name. Let's say uh, my summary 2. Oops, I might have switched off my laptop. Okay, clicking outside. If it changes, okay. If it doesn't, let it be. Try to give it your specific name, which should be you underscore my or let's just try to copy this and paste it over here and click outside. Yeah, it will take the name itself. So keep it a good practice of putting an underscore u if it is not doing automatically, because it will show other users also that it is not out of the box and you have created or some other developer has created. So we have created a my summary field, which is of type string. We have bring string from field type over here. Maximum length, we can define anything. Let's say 500 I can define. Making it mandatory or read only, you can define from here, right? And you can click outside when you're done. And this field is my summary 2 and click on save. That's how you create a field on form. Let me go back to the form and see my summary 2 is present here. This is mandatory and this can take 500 keywords. Yeah, it deleted some. Okay, so that's how you create fields from form designer, which is very good thing. And the second thing I want to come up to, so okay, we're done with strings and dates and everything. I want to bring your focus on this reference field, the field with the magnifying glass icon. What is this field actually? So from the name itself, you can understand this is a reference. It is taking values from some other table, or it is referencing the values from some other table. This type of field, if you right click on this and show this particular field. The field is on table incident. The field name is caller underscore ID. The type is reference, and it is referencing a different table, which is this user table. So we have called this field as caller. The name is caller, and it is taking the data from user table, which is this user table. So if you click on this magnifying glass, see it is opening this user table and showing you all of the records inside this user table, which is 639 records. So this field is taking a reference from a different table. The field is on incident table, but it is taking the reference from this user table. That means any data you want to select from a different table, you can select it. Let's say I want to select a user 5, so you can select any data from that thing. Gives you an I button also, so you can preview this record and you can directly see the referenced record that has been selected in that field. You can, peek a little bit out of it. You can see some values, user ID, email, and the things. What is it actually? So this is taking a reference from a different table. And let me show you. Uh, Similarly, what all
Hi,
other reference fields do we have on this form? Yes.
Guru.
Anyone have
Yes,
any
Guru. I
question?
have one doubt. We are doing all these things inside this one form, right? Example, in this form, we are doing all the changes. Suppose I want these changes should reflect all the incident forms. How to do that? I
Yeah,
mean
it
the
is actually
standard.
reflecting all the incident forms. So all the incident form by mean any incident record that you create. Let me create a new one. So I went there, I typed
Yeah, like
incident,
this.
I created this one,
Hmm.
and see all of these are, I am actually able to submit anything. All of the changes that I'm making will be
Oh,
effective instantly.
okay. If it's effective for all the incident forms, we are
Yeah,
doing
every
using.
incident that is going to be created. So we are making these form
Okay.
changes on this particular incident form.
Okay. It should affect all the incidents. Okay.
Correct. All
Okay.
previously created incidents also, and all newly created incidents also. So
Hmm.
these fields, even if you go and find some previously created incident, let's say all of the incident that came out of the box, we didn't created them. So some of them were, let's say, let's go to some middle ones. Incident 000 or 51003. We didn't created this incident, but you see these newly created fields are coming here also. So it will affect the previous data and it will affect the new coming data also.
So now if you want to update this field means definitely we have to enter my summary too, right? Because it is a mandatory field.
Exactly. If you now try to, do some update on this form, it don't fill this mandatory field, it will definitely give you an alert saying this field is mandatory. So you'll have to actually submit something. Yeah, mandatory field works like this way only. It is mandatory before submitting. So we were
It is
actually
for,
on
and the change will effective for the like previous records also. Like, yeah,
exactly
want to
the
update.
the old records also and the new records also. But it so old records are there. So it will give you a pop-up only when you come up to these old records and try
Yeah,
to save
got
them.
it. Yeah, because if you want to update that particular record, then only
Exactly. So it's the form is now open. This field is now mandatory. If you directly go back, it will not give you any alert. But if you try to change something or update something, it will definitely give you an alert. Let's say I try to update this form with this new summary value. The form will say my summary 2 is mandatory. Please fill it. Because before doing any update, you have to satisfy the form with all the mandatory or all the required things. So the question I have is, this is a new form, new incident form. We were talking about this reference field, the field caller, which is taking a reference from sys user table or user table. I tend to call it sys user table because yeah, it's easier. Uh, okay, what all other fields that are reference fields that we have on this form? What are these fields? Apart from caller field, can you give me some names of these reference fields that are present in front of you?
Yeah, if anybody wants to answer first, you can go ahead.
Like this caller is a
Configuration,
reference field.
configuration item
Exactly. Configuration
for
item, if you
database
click
of
on the magnifying glass, it is taking a reference from CMDB CI table, right?
So all the fields,
Assignment,
yeah, all the fields which are having magnifying glass are the reference one.
correct. That is absolutely correct. So every field that is having this magnifying glass, you can confirm it by using this show field, and the field type will be reference, or the short form is, yeah, any field that have a magnifying glass in front of it, it is a reference field. That is a very good identifier. So yeah, assignment group is taking reference from sys user group table. Caller was taking from sys user table. This is taking reference from sys user group table. So the data it is getting from, it is sys user table. Assigned to is taking the value from sys user table. You see these two fields, I will show you why and what is happening. Caller is taking reference from sys user table, but it is showing you 639 records. Same thing, assigned to is also taking reference from sys user table, but it is only showing you 63 records. Why? Because there are some conditions or some reference qualifiers that are running onto this, which is actually limiting the amount of data that you can fill in this particular field. So you can fill any records in caller, any data out of these 639, you can fill anyone into this caller field, but it is not mandatory that you can fill Anthony over here. Let's say I filled this guy and I try to search for Anthony. Probably, yeah, by like Anthony is present here, but probably sometimes it is not in the same case. Uh, Let me try to find something. Bushra. Able tutor is the guy. Yeah, able tutor is not present here, but able tutor is present here. Why? It is taking the reference from the same table actually, but it is showing you some limited full data over here and some limited data over here. Why? Because it is running some of the references qualifiers. So the reference qualifiers you can see over here. So anything you want to see in short is coming from task table, inherited from task table, field name is assigned to, type is a reference, taking data from the references user table, and this is the reference qualifier that is running on, that is allowing you to actually limit the data. I will show you what it is. That is a more advanced way of mm, limiting the data in some particular field, even though it is taking the data from the same table. So let me try to fill something. Let's say I filled Ellen over here, and yeah, this assigned to field, which is currently having 63 records, is actually dependent on this assignment group field. If I try to fill hardware over here and then see this magnifying glass, so it now have only 7. Previously I had 63. So it is actually taking a reference from the sysuser table only, which is saying that, okay, uh, these show me all of the members that are part of assignment group, right? And if I try to give it my help desk group, which we recently created, how many members we had? 10. Probably one is removed. Yeah, we have all 10. So these are the users. It is limiting you to only see those particular users. Why? Because it is dependent on this assignment group field. So that's how the dependent value comes from. So taking some other assignment group, let's say software. How many members this group has? Software has these 5 members. Same thing, our my help desk had actually 10 members. So that is also one good thing happened. We created one group and added users. You can select and assign to this particular guy and submit the form and satisfy the form mandatory conditions and submit it. Reference field, how to create these reference fields and how to work on. So let me, okay, let's just see one by one what are the field types actually. Right click on number, show this, and you can see this is a string type. Right click on channel, show this, what type of field is. This is actually a string type, but if you try to configure the dictionary, it is a different field. So it's a good idea to not only right click on a field and see it for the name only, or for the actual name, actual field value, field name. But to actually look the type of it, you can do right click and configure dictionary for this. This is a different, other than string type, this is a different field. So type is field, but it is behaving differently. Why? Because it have choices. So it is a single select choice field. So if you go back on the form, you can select one option from here, chat or email. This is a string type field, but working differently because we have given it the choices. Same thing for this guy, state. This is also a string. Why type integer? Okay, let me show you what is state actually. Configure dictionary for the state field. Don't save this form. Configure dictionary for the state field. The type is integer, but it is taking these values. Why it is integer? Because it is taking the values in numbers. The choices are given in number actually. So if anyone or the coder is trying to work on this, so yeah, you can see that the value is in progress or the value is closed, but the system will actually see the value as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and something like this. Why? Because state field, which is a type of integer having all these choices, the label is not at all necessary for us. You can give any name, any random thing to the label, but the value is the one which we are really focused on. Same, so it will take the value. Okay, give me all of the choices that have the value as 1. So one have only new is given as 1. So how you can actually search it? *1. So these are the ones actually. Anything that contains 1 inside it, that's how you apply the filters also. 1 is new, 1 is open also, 1 is waiting also, 1 is something, something, something. But we're only able to see how many fields, how many options actually, these options only. Why this is limiting? Because this is actually limiting on this particular table. I will show you how. Same thing for impact. Impact is also an integer, which is taking the values in form of number, priority 1, 2, and 3. Urgency is also taking the values in form of number, and priority is actually calculating the value according to these value change. How the assignment group was actually calculating the value, because it assigned to is dependent on this assignment group value. So let's just quickly create some fields in form designer.
So like if you want to create a drop down field also, like it will ask for the values, right? Like what are should the values be?
Correct. So let's just try to create one drop down field which says okay, I want to create a field name which is pantry in the office, which will allow you to select options as tea, coffee, water, and these things. So let me just try to create. Obviously this should not be over here. Pantry is not already present, so I will create my field pantry. So, and it should be a choice. Bring it on the form anywhere you want to position it, and new choice is created. Click on the magnifying glass icon. Type is actually choice. Give it the name pantry, and click outside. And something that you can do is, or try to give it the name u_pantry, and the default is none, and we can actually give it the choices. What are these choices? You can select the choices right here. Let's say tea, the value is tea. Coffee, something like this. Yeah. Oh, ठीक है. This one. So we have created this field with type choice and provided these 4 choices, and clicking outside and saving this form and going back to the form, we can definitely see this new field is created with these choices. Pantry, we can select this tea, coffee, and all of these things. Now if you right click on this and do a show onto this, it is again saying you it is type of string. Why? Because if you try to configure the dictionary of this guy, it will take you to the dictionary part of it, and it will say, okay, this pantry is type of string. Why? Why it is a choice? Because it contains these 4 choices. The label is anything, but we have to look at the value. We can give the label at anything, like instead of making tea, we can make it green tea. Change the label, save over here. Yeah, there is also one way. This is also one way of actually changing the value from the list. Double click on it, change it. Coffee, let's say cold coffee, and do a directly check mark. It will actually save. So, but the value remains same. Label can be anything. It is only the value that we have to look at or we are concerned about. Incident. Let's try to open an incident. Yeah, we have this. The new values are updated. Green tea and cold coffee and anything. And you can save your form using these. Okay, so that's how we have created these. I want to give you some assignment quickly. Yeah, there is one more thing I want to quickly cover over here is some things were to be made mandatory. I had written it somewhere. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Reference thing will cover tomorrow.
We can definitely cover. Let me also create one reference field for you guys. So okay, from where do you want me to create? From form designer or from form layout or from dictionary itself?
Dictionary.
Let's just create it from dictionary. So I want to create one reference field which will say which one the field name will be requester, or the one person who has actually requested this incident. So configure and go to dictionary of it. Even if you go to dictionary, it will take you to the same thing. Even if you go to table, same thing. Let's just go to dictionary right now. Configuring the dictionary of this thing. So you see, these are the table, these are the columns that are there. So all of these columns are part of this particular table. You can create any. So let me just create one. This will actually create one dictionary entry. Dictionary entry means a record or a column inside a database. What type we want is, we want a reference type. The label will be the person requested for. Clicking outside will give the name automatically. You underscore requested for. This is a reference field. And so you see there is one star icon coming. If you don't fill it, it will not allow you to fill it, which is saying the reference. The reference field specify what table this fields displays the value from, right? Self understood, from which table you want the values in this field. So let's say I want to grab the values from sys user table right now without any filter. I will try to give the name user, hit on enter, and try to find my sys user table. If you look at this user, this is not sys user, this is import user, which we have seen at the time of importing from Excel, but I'm specifically interested in sys underscore user table. That's why you should go with the username. See the name or the values, not go with the label. The label was same for both of them, but we're interested in sys user table only because this is the actual user table inside ServiceNow. I've selected
And,
sys user, and
and
I
we
have
can filter also for this field here.
yes, I'm coming there. I'm
Oh,
coming there. So we have created one reference field. The name is requested for, taking the value from user table. Filter, I'm coming. Let me create one incident. This is going very interesting and we're always short on time. Okay, so where were we? Where have we created that requested for? Let's just try to find, requested for is here. You can rearrange. You're very smart in this. So click on this magnifying glass. You can see all of the 639 records are coming from sys user table. So I can select any of them. Let's say I select user one and click on save. So now let's array. Now let's try to save this thing and try to apply filters on this. So what is even the point if we have two fields that are same? So caller is also this. This is self-understood. This is the person who actually created the ticket, and this requested for is the thing for whom the ticket was actually created for, right? It can be someone else, right? Abhishek is creating a ticket for me. My system is completely down. I'm unable to even log in or open the system. So he logged in from his user ID, and in the requested for, he put my name. But let's just try to put some filters also. So this reference field is taking all the records without any filter, 639 records we can see. There is no filter. If you want to apply the filter, you can directly go right click configure dictionary. From here, if you configure dictionary for this field, it will directly open that thing. If you want to configure dictionary from here, it will open the whole forms fields, and you will have to find your field that you recently created. You can sort by updated or sort by created, and you see uh, that newly created field you requested for is there. You can directly press this I button and open the record. This is the field that you created, right? And we've given the reference over here. Let me know if I'm going very fast in this, if you're not able to understand. So this is one way of going here. Another way is directly right click and configure dictionary, which is much easier. Right click and configure dictionary. It will take you to the same page, that fields dictionary page. It is loading right now. It has taken you to the same page. So the filter that we want to apply right now, that's a very good suggestion. So user table is taking all of the users irrespective of the filter. Let me apply one filter which says active is true. All of the users that are active, show me only those users. So this filter I have applied, active true. If I save it, so and go back to any incident record, I will be able to see this particular filter. Let me keep open the form design, incident, create new. So this user table now having 639 records without any filter. This requested for, which is also taking, oh sorry, this requested for taking a filter which is 638 because we have one user which was inactive. You understood the requirement? Or let's just try to put up a different filter if it is not. Removing this filter, I am trying to find all of the users whose name or whose name or whose name first name starts with user. Let's try to apply this filter. So this filter is applied. If I try to refresh now, this is also saved. You see, I'm after making every change, I'm just saving that record. This is very much necessary because you've made the change. There is no point of making it if you don't save it. So now this requested for field will only show you 11. There are two users. This user one was previously coming from out of the box, and this user item is also coming out of the box. And these are our 10 users. So it is showing you all of the users that the first name contains or first name starts with user. It is not showing you all 639 records. So that's how you can actually apply the filter. What is this filter and how are we applying it? Simply this way. Sys underscore user table dot list, the filters that we applied in yesterday's class. So this is 639 records in the sys user table without any filter. The filter that I have applied is from here, where I said first name starts with user, and you can verify that you have 11 records only. So yes, your reference field is actually giving you the correct data requested for only 11 records. There is one more thing from the list that you have seen over here, sys user tables list. You have applied the filter, your filter is present here. But when you apply the filter using a reference qualifier, which we recently did, if you open this magnifying glass icon, you don't see any filter. It is automatically applied so that the end users or the user who is using this form is not able to actually see or understand what is happening. So this will not show you any filter, but ultimately the filter is applied in the backend. How we can say that is if we right click, if we show this field, and we can see it is coming from incident. The field name is this, type is reference, taking a reference from this user table, and the qualifier is first name starts with user. This is the reference qualifier. So this is user field. I want to give you guys one assignment. I'm quickly writing this in Notepad. So come on, open.
Just a quick question here. So in this case, if there is an issue, the user is not able to see like all the data, so that means there may be some filtration may be there.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
So there is some reference qualifier issue that the expected data that user may have wanted to see, it is not coming even for him or for everyone. So probably yes, there is a reference qualifier issue. So I want to give you one task is the fields are caller, okay. These two things you will have to work on your PDI, apply these mandatory filters, apply these mandatory conditions, and you'll have to show tomorrow. So make fields mandatory in every condition or all conditions, irrespective of any condition. These fields should become mandatory. I'm not able to save the form without filling these fields, and make fields mandatory only when state of the incident is not new or cancelled. So assigned to field should become mandatory when the incident's state is not new or cancelled. What I mean to say is question one, you can do all these things mandatory irrespective of any condition. So these things you can make mandatory, just directly go to configure dictionary and make it mandatory. And the second thing is assigned to field should become mandatory only when the state of the incident is new or state of the incident is state of the incident is not new or cancelled. So when the state is not new or cancelled, it should become mandatory. That means it is in progress, it should become mandatory. It is on hold, it should become mandatory. It is resolved, it should become mandatory. And it should closed, it should become mandatory. For these two fields, it should not become mandatory. Right? Try to make mandatory this assigned to field on these conditions. These two things, please configure in your system in a PDI, and we can then connect tomorrow. Okay.
Is
Any
it possible
questions?
Tomorrow do we have class?
Oh, sorry, Monday, my bad.
and is it possible to make some like common WhatsApp group or something where you can post or on chat?
You can connect with Prasad,
Okay.
and he will give you all of the details. If you have some questions, you can post to Prasad. He will convey all these questions to me. I will provide the answers. Any questions for form configuration? Yeah, tomorrow definitely we will cover the form builder. If any one of you have time in weekend, also try to look at this form builder. I will give you a little peek of it. It is more advanced way than using form designer.
Is it a new functionality?
Yes, it is the latest one. form builder came into, if
Was
I'm not wrong, it came into Vancouver,
okay.
one version below this. This is much more advanced way. And this, yeah, it's beautiful. So same thing. That's why I came. I show you how this thing actually works. It's the same thing almost, but a little advanced. All of the fields that are present, you can just drag and drop all of them. If they are not present, you can click on this add field on the table. You can actually add them. And other components like a form section you want to add. What is a form section? This is a form section we have seen. Any form section you want to add. Oh yeah, one more thing, form section. How do you add actually form section? So this is one form section on form designer. Incident have all these things, and this is a second separator. Same thing, this is a form section, same form section, but this is a separate section. This section is not named. The third section is notes, having these two. Another is not having names, so these values are coming inside the note section only. Related records, another unnamed section, and this section. So if you want to create one section, how you can actually create in form designer. See, yeah, I've been using form designer, so that's why I'm very much into form designer. So let me create one form section quickly. My new form section.
So did
And
you
let
click
me,
on plus icon to create new
yes,
section?
I did. Let me try to do it again. There is a plus icon. Add a new section after section 8. So I clicked on this. I give it a name, my new section, and any of the fields I want to, I can just drag and drop. Let's say I want my summary, or all of the fields that I have created, I can just drag and drop it to my section over here and just give it a save. Or I can also drag this whole section up and down, uh, just like this. This whole section can move between these two sections, let's say over here, and do a save. And if I try to refresh the incident, this new form section will be added after these three, or yeah, between these three. See, my new section is added and that field came over here. So that's how you actually add a new section. You can try your hands on form builder also. Any of the fields that are there, you can give annotations, add sections as a component, try fields, search from the fields. Let's say I want to bring up active field, drag and drop over here. Same thing, save it. And if you want to add newly, you can add, and the type is, see, everything is coming from that thing only, form designer and previously form layout, and at the very end from configure dictionary. So now you have an idea what is a label, what is a name, what is a type of this data type of this particular field should be, and advanced setting if you want to apply some mandatory norm. See, everything is there. So you will now not get lost over here. So yep, this is for today. I will try to cover form builder extensively in tomorrow's Monday's class, and we'll try to do something else also. Form configuration is done. Yeah, that is it.
What will be the
Stopping
next
the
class?
screen. Sorry.
What will be then the next class?
Yeah, next class will include form builder, a little bit of form builder, and a more of catalog, service catalogs. No. Before service catalog, let me also note it down. There is one more thing. Making some fields mandatory and applying some conditions on the form, adding some info messages, these error messages that were coming, right? Please fill this particular field. This is mandatory.
Yeah.
Let me do a star that I want to add it. Form annotations. Form conditions, mandatory, non-mandatory. Because mandatory and non-mandatory, it's not just a checkbox. It is a whole logic behind it, and which is necessary in the business also. And what was that? Okay, I'm forgetting it. I will write it down. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for today's class. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.